Hi everyone, welcome to episode 11. My name is Abayemi Abioye, and today I'll be taking you on how to connect and transform your data in Power BI. All right, let's get into it. Power BI is a great data tool for data transformation, right? Even data manipulation, right? And the interesting thing about Power BI with the desktop-based interface, which is Power BI desktop, you can connect to numerous data connectors, right? Power BI has a robust data connector, right? You can connect to as many sources, right? Data sources, right? As you can. All right, so I have my Power BI desktop launched, right? So I do not need to sign in, right? Sign in means that here we have sign in to publish your reports, right? Sign in means that I want to access Power BI service, right? Which helps for sharing and collaboration. So I'll close this window, right? So in my home tab and right in my report view, right? I'll go to get data. Now the tooltip says connect to data from multiple sources. So I'll click on this, right? So I'll be importing data from an Excel file, right? So I'll click on get data, and we have Excel workbook here. So I'll click on this. Right, so it goes into my directory and saying, oh, I need to select the file which I want to import into Power BI desktop. So I'll locate the file. So I'll select this account table. Now I'll click on open. All right, so it brings up this window and saying, oh, there is currently one sheet on my account table workbook. So I'll check this. All right, so it gives me an option here to load in data, to transform my data, and of course, to cancel, that data import. Right, now clicking on load takes me direct to my data view in my Power BI desktop. Right, now click on transform takes me to the Power Query. Right, and of course, the Power Query is where general table transformation happen. Right, so I'll click on transform data. So this takes me to my Power Query editor, where I can do some table transformation. I can as well, do some column-specific transformation. Right. So I'll bring in another data, which is also an Excel file. So even right from my Power Query editor, I can bring in data, from these sources, right? Be it a database, be it a flash file, right? So I would click on new source, select Excel workbook. So I'll select branch, click on open. Okay, so this is saying that there's currently one sheet in the branch workbook. I'll click OK. Right. So I can rename this. So there are two ways of renaming this. I can use the properties pane to rename. Now put in account table. So it's very important that you put appropriate table names, right, for easy identification. Now click enter. So I can as well rename from here. I can either right click and select rename, or I just double click. And I'll call this branch table. All right. So just by the left, what we have here is called the query or the query list. Right. So I'll bring in one more data. This is product. So it has one sheet in the product workbook. Then I'll click OK. All right, so I'll rename this. I'll call this product table. All right, great. So starting with the account table, one of the very first step, right, that I take when I bring in data into Power BI Desktop is to make sure that appropriate data types are selected, right? So I'll run through each of the fields in my data, right? Now looking at the branch code, we have data type whole number, but I want to text, right? So there are several ways of achieving this, right? Now, if you look by the right, we have what we call applied step, right? So for every transformation that you do in your Power Query editor, a step is recorded in your applied step, right? So I would remove the step applied, right? So I'll change the branch code to text. The current balance, I'll make it decimal. The product code, I'll make it text. Right, so because this product code is descriptive, right, I'll make that text. And now the branch code is in the format that I want. Now I'll go to branch table. So the branch code in my branch table is not in the format that I want, so I would cancel the step applied here. So I can click on this, use a shift as well, click on this, and change that to text. Right, so easily with this you can easily change, more than one field or more than one column, their data type to the specified or more like the data type which you like change it to, right? So I'll go to table, product table as well. Now you'll notice that we have placeholders here. Now we have column 1, column 2, right? So and it shows that my column header is currently on row 1. Right, so I would go to my home tab. Now in the transform group, there's an option here that says use first row as headers. I'll click on this. All right, great. So you see now my product code and the product description now headers in my product table. So I'll run through each of the tables as well just to be sure I've done all of the necessary transformation that needs to be done. I'll go to my branch table. I'll go to my product table as well, and also ensuring that the right data type is used, right? And when I'm done, I'll click on close and apply, right? And before that, I'll just run through some data specific tools that we have here. So we have the transform column. So what this does is that it helps to modify an existing column, right? And the add column, what this does is that it creates a brand new column, right? Based on some conditional rule or some operational rule, right? So depending on what exactly you want to achieve, right? So you might notice that there are certain options, right, that are available on the transform and the add column. And like I mentioned earlier, the add column creates a brand new column, right? While the transform modify an existing column, right? So I'll click on close and apply. So, and then I will hold on for the data to be loaded into my data view. All right, excellent. Now our data is loaded into data view, right? So one last thing I would like to show us, right? So if I want to make further transformation, right, of my data, right? So I can access the Power Query editor by going to my home tab, and in my home tab, under the queries group, we have transform data. I can click on this and select transform data. Now that takes me to my Power Query editor, and I can do whatever transformation on that data. So one other way by which I can access the Power Query editor, so I can just hover on each of the tables here. Now you see more option. Select that, then edit query. That as well takes me to my Power Query editor. So I click on close. Since I didn't make any transformation or modification to my data in the Power Query editor. All right, great. So we can as well view the data we've imported into our data view. Select an account table. All right, great. So we have our data loaded in. Right. If I click on this, now this shows me the data type text. Clicking on the product code, excellent text. Right, just as we selected in the Power Query editor. I'll click on the current balance, data type decimal number, excellent. I'll click on branch code, data type text, fantastic. I'll go to the branch table. I'll select the branch code, data type text, exactly how I want it. I'll click on branch name, data type text, fantastic. I'll go to the product table, select the product code, data type text, excellent. I'll click on product description, data type text, wonderful. So just exactly how we want it. So that is how you connect to a data source, right? Just as we demonstrated, we connect to an Excel file, which is a text file, right? And of course, I did mention that Power BI has a robust data connector. So even beyond text file, you can connect to a database, right? You can even connect to a cloud database. You can connect to the web, right, as well, right? And even do some transformation, even from data gotten from the web or data gotten from the cloud, right? So that is how you connect and transform your data. So I would see you in the next class. Catch you later.